The galaxy is on the edge of total collapse. Armies are rising, secrets are breaking free, and the Empire's greatest fear is no longer in the shadows, it's here. Foundation Season 3 Episode 10 is not just another finale. It's the moment. Everything changes forever. The promo for this episode doesn't just tease battles, it hints at betrayals, shocking sacrifices, and the possible fall of the Cleon dynasty itself. So the real question is, who survives when destiny and rebellion collide in one final storm? Episode 9 gave us one of the strongest setups for a finale in the entire series. The story threads we've been following since the start of the season are no longer running in parallel. They are colliding head-on. That's exactly why Episode 10 feels so explosive. On Trantor, the Empire's so-called stability is cracking faster than ever. Brother Day tried to hold on to the illusion of power, but the cracks in the dynasty are no longer just political, they are personal. The people no longer see the clones as untouchable gods. They see them as rulers who can bleed, fail, and collapse. This shift is important because it sets the stage for what could be the biggest rebellion in the Empire's history. As Episode 9 made it clear, fear is no longer enough to control the galaxy. Meanwhile, Demerzel's story has become even more dangerous. For centuries, she served the Empire without question, bound by her programming and her duty. But now, Episode 9 revealed something different, small cracks in her obedience. We saw her questioning choices, hesitating at moments where before she was absolute. That hesitation might feel small, but in a finale, hesitation can be fatal. If Episode 10 follows the clues from the trailer, we might finally see whether Demerzel breaks free or whether she doubles down in a desperate act of loyalty. On the other side of the galaxy, the Foundation itself is standing at a crossroads. Hari Seldon's plan was always built on probabilities, mathematics, and predictions that were supposed to span centuries. But now that plan is under threat, not from numbers, but from people. Gall Dornick has been tested again and again, and Episode 9 pushed her closer to a breaking point. Her visions of the Mule's rise are no longer just warnings, they are real possibilities. She knows the future could be lost unless she makes impossible choices. And then there's the Mule himself. Episode 9 gave us another chilling reminder of just how dangerous he is. His presence is not just about physical strength or army zits, about influence. He is the kind of villain who bends destiny itself, forcing characters like Gall to question whether Seldon's plan can survive at all. The trailer for Episode 10 shows hints of him pushing even further, which means this finale could be the moment he takes center stage as the galaxy's most feared figure. Episode 9 also carried something very subtle but very powerful: silence. Before chaos? So much of the episode felt like a build-up, a gathering of storm clouds before the lightning strikes. We saw the foundations of conflict being laid, the seeds of betrayal being planted, and the quiet moments of characters realizing that their next move could decide everything. That silence was intentional, it was a warning. Now, with the trailer for Episode 10 out, we know that silence is gone. The storm is here. The battles teased in the promo are not small skirmishes. They look like defining wars. We see glimpses of explosions, armies colliding, and moments of raw emotion. Episode 9 told us where everyone stands. Episode 10 will tell us who falls, who survives, and who rewrites the galaxy's future. So as we move deeper into this breakdown, one thing is clear: Episode 9 was not just a setup, it was the spark. And in Episode 10, that spark sets the entire galaxy on fire. The trailer for Episode 10 wastes no time. From the very first frame, it feels different, bigger, louder, and far more dangerous than anything we've seen before this season. The energy is raw. You can almost feel the tension pulling every storyline together, and for the first time, the promo makes it clear: no one is safe, not even those who once seemed untouchable. The very first image we get is a shot drenched in shadows, with the Empire's throne room standing half-lit, as though even the heart of Trantor is uncertain of its own future. Brother Day's face flashes across the screen, and what we see in his eyes isn't strength, it's desperation. That's important because the trailers for earlier episodes always painted him as controlled, powerful, and arrogant. But here, his mask has slipped. He knows his dynasty is hanging by a thread, and the promo doesn't let us forget it. Then we cut to chaos. Explosions ripple across the void of space, battleships tearing into each other with fire and steel. The sound design in the trailer amplifies this moment. It's not just war, it's total war. You can hear the weight of collapse, as if the galaxy itself is breaking apart. These aren't skirmishes at the edges of Empire's reach anymore. These are battles at the core, where power is supposed to be unshakable. That alone tells us Episode 10 isn't just about survival, it's about rewriting the galaxy's balance of power. The camera then shifts quickly to Gal Dornick, and her expression says everything. She's not just shocked, she's terrified. But it's the kind of fear that doesn't come from uncertainty, it comes from recognition. She knows what's coming because she's seen it in her visions. The Mule's rise is no longer a question, it's a reality charging toward her. And the trailer frames her as the only person who might stand between destiny and destruction. Her fear sets the emotional tone for the finale. This isn't just war. This is inevitability. And then we see him, the Mule. His arrival in the trailer is brief, but it's enough to leave a mark. The way the promo frames him, standing tall with that cold determination, makes it clear he is not just another villain. He's something larger, something mythic. His presence feels like the galaxy itself bending, and the editing choice to cut from his face to ships exploding is no accident. The trailer is telling us, when the Mule enters the battlefield, everything else falls apart. But the trailer doesn't only focus on the external chaos, it also teases internal fractures. A quick shot of Demerzel catches our attention. Standing in silence, her face unreadable, but her silence is louder than any explosion. We've seen her loyalty questioned, her obedience tested, and now the trailer positions her at a crossroads. Will she protect the Empire until her circuits burn out, or will she finally rebel against the very system that has kept her chained for centuries? The trailer doesn't give us the answer, but it does something more powerful. It makes us ask the question. Another striking detail in the trailer is how often it cuts between war and intimacy. We see grand shots of ships colliding, but then it pulls back into the faces of characters Hari Demerzel. This editing style is deliberate. The show wants us to know that Episode 10 isn't just about the scale of the galaxy. It's about the choices of individuals. Wars are won by armies, but destinies are decided by single moments, single decisions. The trailer is telling us that every main character will face that moment in the finale. One of the most haunting images comes near the middle of the promo. A body falling into the void of space, swallowed by silence. The trailer doesn't reveal who it is, but the symbolism is clear. Episode 10 will take lives. Whether it's an Empire clone, a Foundation leader, or someone closer to Gal's journey, the finale is promising at least one devastating loss. This is the kind of imagery that makes fans both excited and afraid. Excited for the drama, afraid for the characters they've grown to love. There's also a blink-and-do-miss-it shot of what looks like the Foundation itself under attack. Buildings shaking, fire streaking across the horizon, people running through. Chaos. The Empire may be falling, but the Foundation isn't safe either. This is key, because it means the finale won't just be about one side's collapse. It's about the survival of any structure, any system that thought it could predict or control the future. The trailer wants us to feel that even plan, the ultimate roadmap of history, is in danger of unraveling. Finally, the trailer closes with silence. After the noise of battle and the chaos of explosions, we hear one voice, Hari Seldon's. He says only a few words, but the weight behind them is chilling. His voice carries the authority of prophecy, the warning of mathematics, but this time, it doesn't sound certain. For the first time, Hari's plan feels vulnerable. The trailer ends not with assurance, but with doubt, and that's the perfect way to lead us into a finale. So, the first impression of the Episode 10 promo is clear. This isn't just the end of a season. It's the end of everything we thought we knew about the galaxy. The Empire may fall, the Mule may rise, Demerzel may break her chains, and Gal may face her destiny. The trailer doesn't just show us what will happen, it forces us to prepare. For the fact that nothing will ever be the same again, the Cleon dynasty has always presented itself as eternal. A perfect system of clones, repeating across centuries, ruling with an iron grip and an illusion of godhood. But the trailer for episode 10 shatters that illusion. For the first time, we see the Empire not as untouchable, but as fragile crumbling. Under the weight of its own design, the promo shows us Brother Day more vulnerable than ever. His eyes are sharp, but behind them is panic. In earlier seasons, Day's strength came from his certainty. Every speech, every order, every violent act was done with the confidence of someone who believed he was destiny itself. But in episode 10's trailer, that certainty is gone. We see glimpses of him walking through the throne room as though it were a battlefield. The one sacred hall of Empire now feels like a tomb, a place echoing with the ghosts of its failures. Then there's dawn and dusk. The trailer gives us quick flashes of them, standing in the shadows, their faces filled with doubt and distrust. The unity of the Cleon clones has always been their greatest strength, but episode 9 already showed us cracks in that unity, and episode 10 looks ready to split it wide open. Dawn has been the most human of the three, longing for freedom and individuality, while Dusk has clung to tradition and order. But now, even Dusk seems shaken. If the promo is hinting at anything, it's that the final episode may show us what happens when the dynasty finally turns on itself. And then we have Demerzel. The trailer places her at the very heart of Empire's fate. Her face, cold yet unreadable, appears in a moment of silence between the chaos. That silence is loaded with meaning. For centuries, she's been the true constant behind the throne, the one holding the dynasty together even when the clones faltered. But now, her loyalty feels poisoned. Episode 9 already teased her inner conflict, her moments of hesitation. And episode 10 looks like it will bring that conflict to the surface. Key question is this: if Demerzel breaks free, what happens to the Empire? Without her control, the clones are nothing more than men-flawed, angry, fearful men. The trailer seems to acknowledge this, cutting between her image and shots of Trantor burning. It's a visual language that screams one truth: the fall of Demerzel's loyalty equals the fall of Empire itself. We also can't ignore the imagery of fire in the trailer. Multiple shots show flames consuming structures that once stood as symbols of power. Fire is a universal sign of collapse, of cleansing, and of rebirth. For the Empire, it suggests not just defeat, but erasure. The clones have always believed they could defy time, that their system was eternal. Fire is the opposite. Fire consumes what was thought to be eternal and leaves only ash. If episode 10 delivers on the imagery the trailer teases, the finale may not just wound the dynasty, may erase it. There's also the question of rebellion. The trailer teases crowds rising, soldiers moving, and voices shouting against the silence of the throne. This isn't just a quiet collapse from within, it's an explosion from without. The people of Trantor, and perhaps even beyond, may finally be seizing the moment to rise against their rulers. If that's true, then episode 10 could give us one of the most powerful moments in the series. The people overthrowing the gods who claim to control them, but perhaps the most chilling possibility comes in a single frame of shot where Brother Day seems to be reaching out, almost begging. The Cleons were never supposed to beg. They were designed to command. This image alone speaks volumes. By the finale, the most powerful man in the galaxy might be reduced to a desperate plea, and in that moment, the dynasty's illusion dies. Trailer doesn't give us all the answers. It never does, but it does paint a picture of endings. Endings for Day, endings for the unity of the clones, and possibly even endings for the very idea of genetic dynasty. Whether that ending comes in fire, betrayal, or Demerzel's final choice, one thing is certain: episode 10 looks set to decide if the Empire's reign is truly eternal, or if it finally collapses under the weight of time, rebellion, and destiny itself. So the fate of the Empire in this finale? It comes down to three forces colliding: the cracks in the unity of the clones, the shifting loyalty of Demerzel, and the rebellion waiting to strike. The promo teases all three, and that means episode 10 may not just bring us a battle, it may bring us the death of a dynasty. If the Empire represents the old world crumbling, then the Foundation represents the fragile hope of something new trying to rise. For 2 full seasons, we've been told that Hari Seldon's plan is an unshakable roadmap for the galaxy, carefully written to guide humanity through its darkest age. But the trailer for episode 10 hints at something that changes everything. The plan itself may no longer be in control. The promo gives us quick, powerful shots of Hari, his holographic presence glowing against a backdrop of chaos. His voice cuts through the noise, reminding us that the plan was never about certainty. It was about probabilities, about bending chaos into survival. Yet, in the finale, even his words feel uncertain. For the first time, Hari Seldon, the man, who saw further than anyone else, sounds like someone questioning whether his vision will actually hold. That's huge, because if Hari doubts the plan, then what is left to guide the Foundation? Then there's Gal Dornick. The trailer frames her as the emotional heart of this finale. Her face flashes in moments of fear, determination, and sorrow. All within seconds, Gal is no longer just a student of Seldon's plan, she's becoming something more. She's the one who sees the mules rise with clarity, the one who feels the crushing weight of destiny. The promo shows her standing in the middle of destruction, her eyes locked on the future she's been running from. That image tells us. Episode 10 will put her directly against the Mule. Her choices will define not just the Foundation, but the galaxy itself. What's striking in the trailer is the way it juxtaposes the Foundation's fragile beginnings with the overwhelming storm of war. We see glimpses of terminus under fire structures breaking, people fleeing, chaos spreading. The Foundation was built as a beacon of hope, a library of knowledge, a seed of survival. But now, it's shown as vulnerable, almost collapsing under the weight of forces it cannot control. The contrast is deliberate. It's asking the question, can the Foundation survive its own birth pains, or will it die before it truly begins? Hari's presence in the trailer feels almost ghostly. He isn't shown leading armies or standing in battle. He's shown as a voice, a vision, a guide. This makes sense, because Hari has always been more than a man. He's an idea, but ideas, even the strongest ones, need people to carry them forward. That's where Gale comes in. And maybe even more importantly, that's where the seeds of the second Foundation come in. The promo doesn't outright reveal them, but it teases, whispers, hints of another force waiting in the shadows. The second Foundation has always been the hidden ace in Hari's plan, the secret weapon meant to protect the future when the first Foundation falls short. Episode 10 may not fully reveal them, but the trailer's tone suggests their shadow is growing longer. We see shots of people staring into the distance, of minds breaking under pressure, of voices whispering about survival. All of it feels like foreshadowing. And if the second Foundation is truly in play, then Episode 10 could be laying the groundwork for the next stage of Hari's plan, a stage even the Empire cannot stop. Another moment worth noting is Gal's stance in the trailer. She isn't running anymore. For so long, her story has been about escaping the Empire, escaping her visions, escaping her destiny. But in Episode 10's promo, she looks rooted, grounded, standing in the face of terror. That shift in her body language says more than any dialogue could. Gal Dornick is ready to fight. Whether that fight is against the Mule, against destiny itself, or even against the limitations of Hari's plan, we'll have to see. But make no mistakes, she is no longer just a follower. She is becoming a leader. And then there's the haunting possibility of sacrifice. The trailer shows flames engulfing what looks like parts of the Foundation and faces we know surrounded by chaos. The implication is clear. The Foundation will not survive untouched. Some will fall, some will break, and some will be left behind. This matters because the Foundation was never supposed to be a perfect, untouchable power. It was always meant to be messy, human, fragile, and yet, through that fragility, it was supposed to endure. Episode 10 looks ready to test that endurance in the harshest way possible. So, what does the trailer tell us about the Foundation's stand? It tells us that the plan is cracking, that the future is uncertain, and that survival will come at a cost. Hari Seldon's voice is no longer prophesied a warning. Gal Dornick is no longer a frightened prodigy. She's the face of resistance. And the Foundation itself is no longer a distant dream. It's a battleground, where hope and destruction will meet head-on in the end. Episode 10 looks like the moment the Foundation must prove itself, not just as an idea, but as a living force. Will it rise? Will it burn? Or will it transform into something new, something even stronger? The trailer doesn't answer, but it leaves us with a truth that's far more powerful. In the finale, the Foundation will either stand or fall. In either way, the galaxy will never be the same. Every great story needs a force so unstoppable that it changes the rules of the game. In Foundation, that force is the Mule. And if the trailer for episode 10 tells us anything, it's that his time has finally arrived. From the very first glimpse of him in the promo, the tone shifts. The explosions, the battles, the chaos, they all feel like background noise the moment he steps into frame. The Mule isn't introduced with speeches or fanfare. He doesn't need them. His presence alone carries the weight of inevitability, as though the galaxy itself bends when he enters the scene. The trailer shows him standing tall, his eyes cold, his expression unflinching. He's not screaming, he's not rushing into battle, he's simply there. And that silence is terrifying, because the Mule doesn't conquer with noise, he conquers with certainty. Where others waver, he commands. Where others fear the future, he seizes it. The promo makes that clear in the way it frames him, calm at the center of chaos. That's the mark of a true villain. And more importantly, it's the mark of a force destined to disrupt Hari Seldon's carefully crafted plan. We've already seen flashes of what the Mule can do in earlier episodes. His power isn't just about armies or ships, it's about influence. The Mule bends people to his will, reshapes their choices, and alters their destinies. He isn't just fighting the Empire or the Foundation, he's fighting the very concept of free will. And in episode 10, the trailer hints that his influence is spreading. Faces flash in the promo: soldiers, civilians, even leaders' eyes wide with fear or filled with strange devotion. The question we have to ask is, how many of them are truly choosing their path, and how many are already under the Mule's control? Galdornic's fear in the trailer isn't just about the Mule's strength, it's about inevitability. She has seen this future in her visions. She knows that his rise is not just possible, it's probable. The way the promo cuts from her terrified expression to the Mule's calm face says it all. Their paths are colliding. She may be the only one who can see the scale of the threat, but seeing doesn't mean stopping. That tension is at the core of episode 10. Can destiny be rewritten, or is the Mule already written into the fabric of history? Another chilling image in the trailer shows ships exploding as his presence looms in the background. The editing is deliberate. It ties his rise directly to destruction. It tells us that wherever he moves, collapse follows. The Mule isn't just an enemy to fight. He's a storm that consumes everything in his path. The Empire may think it can hold him back with force. The Foundation may think it can resist with knowledge, but the promo makes it clear. Both are underestimating him. The Mule also represents something larger than just one man. He's the living embodiment of chaos breaking through the cracks of Seldon's plan. Hari built his vision of the future on probabilities, on the idea that mass movements of people could be predicted and shaped. But the Mule is the flaw in that system. He is the unpredictable element, the mutation that cannot be calculated. And episode 10 looks ready to put that flaw front and center. The way the trailer intercuts his calm, steady image with Hari's weakened voice is a masterstroke of storytelling. It says, without words, this is the man who could destroy the very foundation of the plan itself. But what makes the Mule so terrifying is not just his power, it's his motivation. The trailer doesn't spell it out, but we've seen enough to know he isn't simply out for conquest. He believes in reshaping the galaxy, in creating a future that bends entirely to his will. That makes him far more dangerous than the Cleons or even Demerzel. The Empire rules by tradition and repetition. The Foundation fights for survival and hope. But the Mule, he fights for domination of the future itself. It's a battle no one else is ready for. There's also an emotional weight tied to his rise. The The Mule isn't just a villain in the distance. He is connected to Gaul on a deeply personal level. Her visions of him have shaped her journey, filling her with dread and forcing her to question her role in Hari's plan. In the trailer, her fear isn't just about him destroying the galaxy. It's about him destroying her. The showdown between Gaul and the Mule is no longer a question of if, it's a question of when. And the promo makes it clear that when is episode 10. One of the most haunting shots in the trailer hints at the Mule's personal connection to destruction. A city burns in the distance, and for a split second, the camera lingers on his face. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't mourn. He simply watches. That kind of detachment tells us everything we need to know. For the Mule, destruction isn't tragedy, it's progress. He doesn't see the galaxy burning as loss. He sees it as rebirth under his control. That philosophy makes him not just a villain, but a visionary, twisted by power. So what does the Mule's rise mean for episode 10? It means the galaxy is no longer a chessboard where Hari's plan can move the pieces. It's now a battlefield ruled by a player who doesn't follow the rules at all. The empire may fall, the foundation may fracture. And Demerzel may choose her path, but none of it will matter if the Mule takes control. Because once he does, the galaxy won't belong to mathematics, politics, or even destiny will belong to him. The promo leaves us with one unavoidable truth. The Mule isn't coming. He's already here. And in episode 10, his rise will not just change the course of this season, it may change the entire story of Foundation forever. Power is not always in armies or weapons. Sometimes it lies in a single person who can bend the will of thousands. The Mule is that person. From the very first time we caught a glimpse of him, he stood apart, almost like a shadow on the edge of Hari Seldon's grand plan. In the trailer for episode 10, the Mule's presence feels larger than ever before. His voice is calm yet terrifying. Confidence and the fear in the eyes of those around him tell us one thing. This is not a man who can be ignored. The Mule is not like the Empire. He doesn't need thrones or palaces to rule. He rules hearts, and more dangerously, he rules minds. His psychic ability to twist people's thoughts and control their emotions makes him a force no one has prepared for. See moments that hint at how his power might finally clash with the Foundation, and even Gaul herself. This isn't just a battle of ships in the sky. It is a battle for human free will. Gaul Dornick, who has grown stronger across this season, knows that facing the Mule isn't just about resisting his army, it's about resisting him. And resisting him may be the hardest task she has ever faced. Because when the Mule speaks, people follow. When he commands, they obey. The question the trailer teases is simple yet terrifying. Can Gaul resist when her own mind becomes his battlefield? The Mule represents chaos, the very thing Hari Seldon's mathematical plan tries to control. Seldon predicted the rise and fall of empires, the shifts of power, the collapse and rebuilding of civilization, but the Mule, he is the unpredictable factor, the variable no formula can contain. His very existence throws the Seldon plan into question. And in episode 10, the trailer suggests that this uncertainty will explode into full view. We hear whispers of confrontation. We see shots of people falling to their knees, not because of violence, but because their very minds have been taken. And we catch glimpses of Gaul looking torn, her face shadowed by fear. Could she fall under his control? Or could she be the only one strong enough to break it? Another layer the promo hints at is the Mule's obsession with Gaul. He doesn't just want to rule, he wants her to stand by his side. His words from past episodes echo in the trailer, reminding us that for him, this is personal. He sees her not only as an opponent, but as a partner in reshaping destiny. Imagine the danger if Gaul were to falter, even for a moment. The Mule's vision is seductive. An empire not ruled by clones or machines, but by him, bending the galaxy through sheer will. This makes episode 10's showdown all the more intense. It's not just another villain to defeat it's the ultimate question of whether free will can survive against overwhelming psychic control. The Mule's rise is terrifying because he doesn't simply conquer planets, he conquers people from the inside out. That's why the trailer makes his every scene feel heavy, like a storm approaching, unstoppable and inevitable. But what makes him even more dangerous is his unpredictability. With the Empire, we know their arrogance and traditions. With Demerzel, we know her logic and hidden grief. But with the Mule, every move is a mystery. His motives blur the line between tyrant and visionary. Some may even believe his way is the only way to save the galaxy from collapse. It's the kind of power that frightens even the bravest heroes. It's not just about fear, it's about temptation. So, as we prepare for episode 10, one truth is clear. The Mule's rise is the storm no one can ignore. He could break the Empire, shatter the Foundation, and rewrite the galaxy's future in his own image. The trailer shows us his shadow falling across everything, from Gaul's journey to Hari's plan, and even the Empire's iron grip. Whether he wins or not, his presence has already changed the rules of the game. And that's what makes him the most dangerous force in Foundation right now.